welcome everybody to the Daily Hi-Fi Podcast. It is Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My name is Chana, aka the Techno Dad. With me as always, we've got Joe, Aaron, Michael, and our special guest today, Elon. What's up, guys?
What's happening?
What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Yeah, it is a full house. Somebody asked earlier if we have a full house, and yes, we do.
5 people, right?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Hello.
Oh, I didn't mean to share that right away. Hey, this is the GIF I was talking about. I was going to show you guys. So every time I see somebody older trying to fit in with the cool kids, it reminds me of this GIF, and it cracks me up every time.
That's hilarious.
So now you guys will have that.
That's
Yeah.
good,
All right.
dude.
That's it.
That guy.
And
What's the name of that actor?
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve
Buscemi, yeah.
Yeah, he's actually like a firefighter too.
Mr. Pink,
what?
right?
Is it me or
Yeah, like volunteer, right?
Yeah, he was actually at 9/11. I guess he went down there or something. I think that's how I found out. It was talking about him and his relation to 9/11.
He's also Mr. Pink from Reservoir Dogs, if you guys have seen that.
I just know him as the creepy dude from Con Air.
Oh, yeah. The one with the like face mask and everything.
Yeah. And then he's like, define irony. Was it like a bunch of people on a plane that listening to a song written by a band that died in a plane crash?
oh, fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They were listening to Leonard Skinner. So anyway,
Miracle
doesn't that
worker.
guy look like the I don't know, is it the same guy as remember that milk commercial? The Aaron Burr. Like who
Aaron
shot?
Aaron Burr.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
It looks like the same guy. I don't think it is, but he looks the same.
Yeah.
I always thought that.
We got a bunch of regulars in the chat.
Yeah.
Regular Guy Audio, RGA, what's up? True Voice of Reason, Right Wave Audio, Junior OG, what's going on, everybody? Glad you can make it. Jeremy Anderson, great response to those Atmos
dude.
comments there, buddy. It was fantastic.
He's our resident Dolby Atmos expert, right?
Our Atmos expert. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. There was a here, let me pull it up. There was a comment on that video. It was very, I don't even know how to answer that. So we could just dive right in. It was one of the ones that it was that one actually, the Dolby Atmos one. Here it is, Dolby Atmos. All right, I'm gonna do screen share here. So bear with me a second. Okay. Here we are. There's the video, and here is the comment by this guy. I hope Youthman helped me as Techno Dad and Joe and Tel did not respond to my comment. Can I add double external power amplifier to pre-out AVR using Y cable? Example, front pre-out, Y cable, double amplifier, 4 front speakers. I have a lot of speakers. I have 11.2 system. I have 18 speakers, 2 center, 4 front, 4 surround back, and 4 Atmos. I want to use all the speakers. Okay.
Well,
Why?
the first thing he says there is Techno Dad and Joe and Tel did not respond to my comment. This is the first time I've ever seen.
I know this is the first time
I've never seen. So I
Well,
must have missed your comment because I've never seen it.
Yeah,
before.
what people don't realize is, I mean, my goodness, man, we get thousands of comments. There's
I
no
think this was in
physical
the
way.
actual show, so it could have been in the
Oh,
show in the chat.
Maybe, yeah.
I would
So
imagine.
sorry. I apologize. Honestly, I try my best to,
Yeah, but
answer
think
when I
about this.
can, but sometimes they kind of slip by. So I apologize.
Comments like that don't get added in the comments below. They
Yeah.
get added in the replay over on the right. So that was like
Possibly.
one he left in the comments. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that to me, I don't see. I mean, I get it. You want to utilize what you have, but I've always shared that a proper whatever setup is better than an improper bigger setup, whether it's a 5.1 versus 7.1 or 7.1 versus 9.1. Throwing more speakers can honestly add more problems. So you really, and there's no reason to really like split a bunch of signals unless your room is like, 100
Giant.
feet deep.
Giant. Yeah.
And you want to spread that same information over multiple rows of seating, like on the side surrounds. I could maybe see that, or maybe your Atmos speakers. But if you got even a 30-foot room, no, dude, you don't need that. So that's just my thought. So Youth Man just helped you. Techno Dad, Joe and Tel, y'all suck. So that's how it is.
I'm partially joking here, but
Yeah.
unless
we're just
you're
having fun.
using it for subs, anytime you're using a Y adapter, you're probably doing something bad.
Yeah, I don't see the. Yeah,
I don't.
there's no real benefit
So first
there.
of all, we all know the if you have 2 center channels, right? You'll get that comb filtering
Correct.
thing
Not good.
happening.
Not good.
And even if you like, I remember one of the first, maybe in the first month of us doing the show, somebody called in, or the first time we were doing call-ins, they're like, yeah, I've got 30 speakers and this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, cool. You have DTSX Pro? That's pretty awesome. And then they're like, oh no, I have an 11 channel setup. I just have 30 speakers. I got this going here. They go in there like, okay, let's stop this. If you have I say you should have as many speakers as your processor or AVR can process. So if you have a 7-channel processing receiver, run 7 speakers. If you have 11, run 11. Now, you know what you can do with those other 7 speakers? You could set up a second Atmos setup somewhere else. That's
In the
what you can
bathroom.
do. Yeah, there you go. Bathroom, bedroom.
Dude, that'd be so
Whatever.
awesome, man. Having a Dolby Atmos in the bathroom while you're taking a shower,
I
playing
thought
some
you were gonna say
Top
something else
Gun.
right there.
Wait to
You heard
take a
that?
shower.
Yeah,
Where
dude.
were the speakers
dancing?
at?
Dude, just
I
everywhere,
was
man.
thinking of the other SH word.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, is he gonna? Who's this guy?
That's what I thought he was going to say too.
No.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
was
not.
about
I knew
to say,
better.
man,
Yeah, you do know better, man. And you still went down the gutter. What's up? Mercy.
I went down the sewage pipe.
Toilet
as you would say.
toilet
Atmos.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's rad. I love it. Yes,
Jeremy.
Chris.
Jeremy said, "This guy is trying to invent some new Atmos that can't possibly work." But I tried to answer him. Yes, you did. Thank you, Jeremy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
we
not
try to
our
be
fault.
nice to everybody. You know,
Yeah.
experiment. Of course, I've done the same thing. You know, when I was younger, I had car audio tweeters like on the wall. Why? Just because I had some. You know, wider soundstage, right? With tweeters.
Yeah,
on the
right.
screen.
Yeah, right.
Whatever. But yeah, you gotta. Sometimes you just gotta learn, right? And it's fun. It's part of the fun.
Yeah, if you want to do it, you can go ahead and do it, but be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful. If you like attach two center channel speakers to the center channel binding post output on your AVR, you could possibly mess up your AVR.
Yeah,
Right.
don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't
don't
mess
do
it.
don't
I
do
think
any of that.
he's talking pre-outs though, and then going into dedicated amplifier.
Going to an amplifier.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. No, I know.
So I don't think there's any harm in that. I just don't think you're going to benefit. I think Jeremy had a great point. He says the simple answer is Atmos depends on steering between individual points. If you split those points, you're throwing off the steering and introducing many other issues. So I think it's a great
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
So steer your car right, man.
Steer it.
Jeremy. I'm just teasing, teasing, because
Crap
Jeremy
monster.
loves Atmos, and we kind of get into it when I talk about Oro, and so we have fun with it.
No.
But Mike Ortiz says crap most.
Crap.
Is Mike Ortiz? Is this the one who said that your binaural was so much better than mine, Shauna? Was that Mike Ortiz? Is that you, Mike Ortiz?
Joe was very offended.
I hope it was. I want to see the drama.
He
Hash
said,
it out right here.
"Oh man, Chana, first thing I noticed in your binaural demo just sounds so much better than Joe's."
And I'm like,
Ouch.
Joe's like, they're the same microphones. And I'm like,
Oh, actually, your room is probably much better.
yeah.
You got a
Yeah,
lot of
no,
treatment in there, so
Yeah,
Sure.
a lot of treatment.
you're probably right. Although those speakers sounded like they could have used a little more
yeah.
highs, Shauna,
Mhm.
a little bit.
Yeah. Where is this? I can't even find this comment.
Okay.
Yes, Mike Ortiz. Yes, that was it. That was it.
Yes, it was you, Mike. Was I offended? No. I thought it was funny. But yeah, Elon, what's up? What's up
Yeah.
with you? What's new? Last time I talked to you, I was at Disneyland. I didn't mean to be rude, but I
But you were.
wanted to join.
It's Joe. He's always rude.
Yeah.
Rude and tail is
That
what we
was
call
great.
them.
Yeah. Well, what's new is that I finally finished my testing theater that I've been slaving away at for the last, I don't know, 4 months or so. It was basically when I knew I wanted to do it and I knew I needed to start it, once, like February came around. But at the same time, it was like February, March when I got a confirmation that Iota was about to send me their AVX17 preamp. So I was like, okay, now I need to step it up and I need to really
Put it in gear.
grin and bear it. And yeah, put it into high gear and get this thing done. But obviously there's so many things you can't anticipate when you're trying a project like that, especially for me doing it for the first time, and also attempting to do construction aspects for the first time, like building walls and stuff. I
Yeah.
never built a wall before, framed a wall.
Go for you, man. Any problems, you just hide it with acoustic panels, right?
Yeah,
If your
Dude,
seams aren't straight,
That's
you're
what I
like,
did.
uh-huh.
That's
Why do
awesome.
you have
And black
headphones
grill
right
cloth.
there? What were those in that part of the video?
What, my acoustic
Earmuffs or
panels?
something?
Oh, he
Are
was
you
he
wearing
was
those?
jamming.
He's
Yeah,
listening
those
to music.
are
He's
those
Oh,
are
okay.
some Sennheiser wireless headphones.
Hey,
Oh,
just
okay.
cranking some tunes,
All right,
man.
all right. What was that movie when they
Yeah.
say earmuffs when you say bad words?
Old school.
Old school
They
earmuffs.
were in
Yeah.
the kitchen.
Yeah.
They were in the kitchen.
Right.
See,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can put
With
on
a little
earmuffs,
baby.
now you can say anything.
Right.
Oh man, cool. So, how far are you in this process right now?
I mean, it's pretty much done. I mean, I've got I just have a doorway. I don't actually have a door right now. But even then, I don't think I'm going to put a door in there. I'm probably just going to like hang. I've got some like real heavy red fabric that I think I'm
Mhm.
just going to drape over a curtain rod or something, and just let it drape, so then I can just kind of at least have some sort of barrier there to stop some sound.
Oh, look at that! Look
Uh-oh.
at that MDF crack.
But the yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I had to do it all over again, I would definitely probably just use some plywood or something for the frames. I mean, they worked out, and they're still pretty darn sturdy, but I don't know. Plywood's just a little bit more rigid, and I can hang them a little easier on the ceiling for any future projects, or if I decide to build like a dream home theater on my new property. But that's
I give
a
you some
long
mad
time
props,
from now.
man. That's a lot of woodworking for somebody that's not a woodworker. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, credit due to my brother-in-law's shop, because that definitely made it easier too.
Oh, super cool. He's got the tools.
Yeah,
Nice.
like honestly, you're as good as your tools when it comes to
Yeah.
woodworking.
Yeah, I can see that.
Especially like trying to make things straight and everything.
Yeah. You make your own acoustic panels too?
I did, yeah.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
he did
just
them on
because
stands
they're so
so
expensive.
he can move them
They're so
around.
expensive.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, 100%, man. If you can make them, dude, it'll save you a fortune.
Can you make
'Cause
me
they're-
some too?
They're
Just
over
drop 'em
$100 a piece.
Elin, I'm too
Yeah.
lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I mean, it took over a week, but like, man, the result,
Yeah.
speaks for itself. It was.
I wish I
definitely
I wish I
well
would have
worth it.
started. I shared
That's
it
me
with
right
one
there,
of my
lazy.
This is Joe. No, it's not.
Yeah.
So, are you able to listen to it? And have you been messing with it?
Yeah,
Listening to it?
I got it. It's up and running. I've been last week. I did some demos. Went through a bunch of demo scenes that I typically go to, and man, it sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never experienced this type of sound in a home setting. So I get into it a little bit in the video that's coming out at the end of this week, but man, I think it's also not only because of the acoustic treatment I put up and the fact that it's a dedicated space, but also it's probably due to the fact that I'm using a preamp and external amps for the first time ever. Because once I reviewed this preamp, the Iota AVX17, I'm going to pit it head to head against the Marantz SR 7015 in preamp mode, and just to see if is it really that big a difference, because the Iota AVX17 also has XLR outputs, whereas the Marantz only has RCA outputs.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to a lot of different head-to-heads and testings of all the questions that I want answered. So
last time I was asking you about the room correction on there.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I mean, I did the room correction. Just a real quick room correction though. I haven't gone like crazy with it yet, just because I just finished it. But I mean, it is pretty cool that you can manipulate pretty much every channel independently, including subwoofers independently. It's not all just one.
One thing.
Oops.
Yeah, not all just one thing for all subwoofers. You can independently change them depending on what kind of readings you get, or I haven't even done REW yet. I just wanted to see what this preamp could do just on its own.
So it was just auto. It does like the auto type of deal.
Yeah, or just did some test tones throughout the speakers and calibrated the distances that way, and it sounds awesome.
Is it possible to just let it do the distance and levels? Because I think that would make it a very fair comparison. So you could, when you're doing the comparison between that and the other one, just don't let it do any like EQ, just levels and distance.
Right.
And then the other one, also let it do its calibration, but turn off, the Odyssey correction. So it'll still keep the levels and distance, but it won't apply the EQ. And then I think you'll be able to do a pretty good comparison.
Yeah, you can individually do the distances and the levels and adjust that too.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times
I've been really impressed so far.
Okay, all right. And what type of speakers again?
Aperion audio, pretty much pretty much all the way around. The only ones that aren't Aperion are my mid heights, which are the SVS prime elevations, and then my center height, which is a Emotiva Air Motive A1. But yeah, since I'm still testing the AVX17, which does not have RO3D, I have yet to test out the Voice of God speaker that I have mounted. So I'm really looking forward to that, because I haven't actually had a proper RO3D setup
You're not
yet
missing anything
until now.
So with your you become a hater now? Is that what it is, Michael?
No, man, I'm a comic, man. I'm not a hater. I don't hate nobody.
I was gonna say. I thought you were like, hey, use whatever you like, and now it's garbage, huh?
Nah, man. I like to have fun more than anything.
So when you're doing this PEQ stuff or the room correction, is it something that you can do with the computer, or how does that? What's the interface?
No, it's just all just within the box. Yeah, built into the software.
So do they have their own proprietary stuff?
They do. Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you do, like it has PQs, right? So it has, I think, 7 PQs. So you'd have to do that with a remote. Like, how would you type those in?
Yeah, there's a remote that comes with it, and it's got a interface that you can see on screen.
Because it just seems like 7 PEQs, each one has 3 settings, and the remote for that doesn't sound like a ton of fun. There's no way that you can log into it like with a web browser or anything and type anything in.
Not that I know of. I mean, honestly, that's one of the downsides of the AVX17 is that the software that runs it is, I mean, it's something out of the 1990s. I mean, it is super basic. But at the same time, I mean, that's kind of it's kind of what they were going for. They're just like strictly pure, just audio. They're like, we're going to give you some incredible audio, but we're going to skimp on everything else just to keep the cost down. So there's not even like a fancy graphic detailing of where all the speakers are. It's it's just this one line within the software that just says, what configuration are you doing? And you can just choose 7.2.4, 9.2.6. So
does it have a volume?
Is really basic.
Does it have like a volume? Does it have volume?
It does.
No volume. No volume for you.
It's a set volume at SPLs, baby.
Right.
Oh man,
it's made for real home theater enthusiasts. It's just
if you're not at reference,
baby. It's that reference.
If you're not at reference, you're not doing it right.
That's right.
So hey, give me a call afterwards. I want to kind of see like how the interface works. I'm very curious about those. That one, the Tone Winner, and
all the ones we can't get our hands on. Pretty much.
I have a feeling that they're all kind of similar.
I know, because Two Guys Tech actually just came out today with a review on the Iota AVX17. And they did actually take the top off, and they noticed that it's pretty much identical to the Tone Winner.
Okay.
So, yeah, it pretty much comes from the same manufacturer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But
well, very cool.
I'm hoping for. I keep bugging my Emotiva rep to send me an MC1. Their Dolby Atmos processor.
Yeah.
Because it's very similar to the AVX17 and the Tone Winner. But I just want to see if maybe the software is a little bit better.
Yeah, I've been emailing them too. Again, I mean, since last time we talked.
Elon, why do you sound so hesitant, bro?
Well, hesitant about what?
A little bit better.
Yeah. Aaron, how you feeling over there? Aaron, you're saying that you got COVID.
Did you get it, Michael?
Nope. There's a
barrier.
There's a wall between us. We're good, bro. It's thick too.
Oh man,
it's thick.
It is a pretty thick barrier. Yeah, it's about as wide as we are. So,
but look up. What are you saying there, bro? Up top, man.
Hey, man, you did go on 2 walks, so I'll give that to you.
Yeah. See, look right there. Look how skinny that thing is, man.
Oh, between me and Elon.
Yeah, but
they're gonna catch something up there. We're good.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah. Now you can share it with Chana and Joe.
I hate that it's like turned. It's awkward.
Oh gosh.
We need a reverse setting on this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go.
What's the directivity of that cough right there?
This one or this one? This is plus or minus about 80 degrees.
Aaron. I'll have Michael infect the other two. Oh wait, no. Wait, you're the one infected, Aaron. Damn it.
Cancellation rate.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll take my chances.
That's funny, man.
What's up?
Oh man, nerd
joke.
Oh hey,
I managed to get COVID. Yay!
Have you guys seen the movie Ambulance?
No, I want to though.
Oh my gosh, Joe, by far, I would say you would love it the most. Okay. And I'm actually loving the way, because even in Obi-Wan Kenobi and even in what is it called? Halo, they are using so many drone shots that give you this big sweeping, like expansive view, and then they just right up in the actor's face. Right?
Oh yeah.
Really awesome. And they do that a lot in Ambulance. Like there's this shot of City Hall, you see it, and you know, I've lived in LA for a long time. I'm like, oh, it's City Hall, and then all of a sudden the drone's up here going all the way, it's like an FPV drone, so it's going all the way down, like the building, and it's just coming in, and I'm just like, oh, this is so cool. So they do a lot of that. I saw it in Obi-Wan Kenobi, the first episode.
I'm adding it to the list. Ambulance,
yeah, it's a new movie.
What's it on though? Like, can you stream it on anything? Or was it theater only? Okay, never mind.
You can stream it. I don't.
Peacock's got it.
Peacock has it.
I think so. I'm looking now.
I don't know exactly where you stream it from, but
yeah.
It's there.
But
yeah,
like, seen it though.
I have it on my Zapiti. I don't know how it just showed up there.
That's weird.
One day, like 3 weeks ago.
The stork dropped it off.
Yeah, somebody dropped it off.
This video is gonna be flagged.
Yeah, no, he's just kidding.
I really do like the way that they're embracing this drone technology and incorporating it into like regular shots. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys seen Halo. It's on Paramount Plus. I used to play Halo. I never played the campaign, so I can't tell you if I think the story's completely made up. But,
got him. Y'all see that?
Yeah,
dude.
That'll be like Michael's like
now he's
on his like fifth run right now.
He's over there dying. He's like,
Michael's trying to see how many times he can catch it. He's like, you got the record for the most.
Gosh,
nice talking to you.
Right, you got me.
You got him.
After the next time Michael gets it, he's gonna have the cure. Like, you just take some of his blood and that's it.
He's gonna be a monkey that they put on an island by himself.
Everybody.
Actually, I've only got it once.
Oh, okay.
Twice now.
Twice.
So Croissant said there was an actual commentary about the drone pilot who filmed the Ambulance. He's a pro racing drone pilot. That makes sense, because the moves that he was doing, like, dude, they're like pretty expansive, and like they took some time, and like you see the actors, they're acting down there, and you hear them talking and stuff, and all of a sudden they come into the conversation like from up top. It's fantastic. I love
nice.
it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, isn't that Michael Bay?
Yes.
I think it
and
is.
it was in
yeah.
So
here's one. Is Ambulance basically a sequel to End of Watch? Now, I don't know, but I'm highlighting this because End of Watch, if you haven't seen that is a fantastic movie. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but
End of Watch. Is this
yes.
What is that?
It's Jake Gyllenhaal and the other
Jake
guy who I
Gyllenhaal.
really like. I'm trying to remember his name. Let me go find him real fast.
Michael Pena.
Yes. I love Michael Pena. I love it. Him in any movie that Michael Pena is in, I'm going to watch it, except for Chips. That looked terrible because Dak Shepard. But otherwise, no, End of Watch is fantastic. I loved that movie. I've seen it multiple times and will continue to watch it every time I have the opportunity.
Shot
FYI.
documentary style, this film follows a daily grind of 2 young police officers in LA. Okay.
Yeah, it's
It could have been. It probably isn't, but I mean.
So Obi-Wan. So have y'all been watching that or seen it?
I don't think I got to. Is there episode 3 or?
There's 3 now. I just watched 3 yesterday since I'm homesick. I can't do anything else. I'm like
COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta add this End of Watch. Hold on a second. Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen the first 2 episodes.
I mean, I'm not a Star Wars junkie, but I don't know. It's okay. It's not bad.
Again, another fully made up story. These plot lines, we have no idea what happened, after episode 3, in between episode 3 and 4. And so they're just kind of like giving us some, filling in the gaps.
Yep.
Making up a story.
All right. So
there are books
finally
out there.
Oh, are there?
Yeah,
Is it
plenty
based off of the
Star
books?
Wars books.
Oh yeah.
Hey, maybe, I don't know.
It's a wild
But,
world,
yeah.
man. My brother-in-law is all into that stuff. He could probably tell you.
So
Yes.
So I
Maverick.
finally got to watch Top Gun Maverick. I think who here has not watched it? Elon, have you
We've all
watched it?
seen it?
Yeah, I saw it
Okay.
Friday.
Oh,
All right, so we're not going to spoil it. We're professionals here. We're
they
professionals.
all die.
Yeah, they all die.
Yeah.
In a car
Everyone.
wreck.
And the amount of times like I just jokingly say that all the time, my wife always looks at me because she thinks I'm serious. Like, how are they all gonna die? Like we were talking about Stranger Things because the new season's up and we need to watch that. And our teenagers started watching it already. And so she's like, don't give me a spoiler. I'm like, they all die. And she looks at me like glaring. I'm like, they're not all gonna die. Come on, I'm just joking.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is in
You
it.
should know by now.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is in it. He's got a good part. He plays a good role in it.
So first of all, I thought it was a A+. And actually yesterday I watched the old one again.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the old one.
I do too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's better. But yeah, anyway, I think the old one makes the new one better. Let's just say that. That's not a spoiler, right? Like when you watch it, you get a little bit of like extra details.
They work together. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
So I say I would give it an A. Right? The movie would get an A, but if you watch the old one and then watch the new one, I'd say like it's an A+ because it's just like, little extras here and there.
It's a good summer. It reminds me of like the summer blockbusters of yore, like back in the day when you would go see like Jurassic Park. You remember? Exactly.
And then I remember watching Bill Maher a few years back. He's like, why is there a summer blockbuster in the winter? Now it's just all these like Marvel movies they're just littered around the year. Like, okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
Like Joe makes fun of it. We all make each other better over here.
Oh.
Recency bias. Old one is better.
No.
Ooh. Ike says the old one is better.
So my 11-year-old daughter said the same thing about liking the second one more. I took her and she saw it because she didn't want me to have to go alone. And she was like, yeah, I didn't think I was going to like this one, but it was really good. And she cried multiple times. There was some curveballs, So she cried multiple times and she had her feelings.
I mean, recency bias, if you watch both of them kind of back to back, there's no recency bias there.
Yeah, actually, I watched the old one before I watched the new one.
Correct.
And then I watched the new one again. So I watched it twice. And, in the first one, like, Tom Cruise's teeth are not as good. It's the first thing I noticed.
For sure.
They're a little bit more,
First one, he hadn't even reached puberty.
He keeps making more money. His teeth just keep getting better and better.
A little bit better each time. That is true.
You notice that?
Kind of like Ben Affleck. Like before he did Armageddon.
Yeah.
And then like Michael Bay paid to have Ben Affleck's teeth redone.
Oh, he
So,
did.
yeah,
He didn't even
that's
do it
definitely
himself.
true.
He's just like,
That's
hey, if you
not
want
even
this
a
role.
joke. Yeah, no, like he's like, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to get your teeth fixed. So
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
he had like caps put in.
Yeah, the first Top Gun, Tom Cruise like this do this like thing. He's like smiling a lot, like he thinks he's super cute or something like that. You know, like
He puts the shades on.
yeah. Hold on? Who's
Uh-oh.
calling right now? Who is it?
Somebody knows this number.
I know. Hello,
Hey, is this Joe?
this is Joe.
Hey, Joe. I'm glad to actually speak to all four of you guys. I'm sorry, five. All you five of you guys are great. You don't know me from a man in the moon, but I always give credit where it's due. And
Thank
as far
you.
as I'm concerned, every one of you guys deserves a whole heap of credit for what you've done to the industry, for the industry, and being about the industry. And most humble appreciation. I'm sure I speak for a whole plethora of people that you guys are fantastic.
Appreciate
Oh,
it.
thank you, man.
Now, having said, you're quite welcome. Having said that,
You all
Joe,
suck.
I'd like to get into one of your master classes. Actually, a private thing with me and my partner. We've got an audio business that we're trying to do some things with, and I think you can help us out quite a bit. So that's number one. Number two, gentlemen, Michael, you did a thing way back on separates and receivers and the benefits.
Yeah.
That you think that separates and pre-pros tend to bring that receivers don't, as far as detail and separation, this and that, whatever. What I want to ask all four of you guys, Aaron, you're included. I know you're not as big on the whole home theater thing as everybody else is, but you know you're included in this as well. Is there any? I'm getting ready to get an 8805A, the
Okay.
new version.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, is there any difference processing, gentlemen, as opposed to what the processing power is and separation and detail that you would get in a top-end Denon or a top-end Marantz, as opposed to the separation DAX and what a pre-pro would bring, whether it's 7706 or 8805A, whatever. Is there a difference in the processing power? Would you actually be able to sit down and hear the difference between a really good solid pre-pro and a really good top-notch receiver in the separation in all the channels?
Yeah, the reality is that whole conversation is crazy subjective. Like even when I did my video, it was between two specifics. I didn't make a blanket statement that separates are better than AVR. A friend of mine me and a friend of mine came over and we did the SR 8015 from Marantz, and then I replaced that with the AV 7706 from Marantz. Had the 8015 in preamp mode, connected to the same amplifier, connected to the same speakers. The only thing we did was listen to the SR 8015, do some demos, swap it out with the AV 7706 processor, ran Odyssey, and then we did those same demos. And in that specific setup, we both felt, and we didn't think we were going to hear any difference. We thought, oh man, it's using the preamp mode. It should act like a processor, but to our ears, it did not. We heard better separation. We heard more detail. Now, here's where the subjectivity comes from. Is that just, what did he call that? The new bias? What was that word?
Recency.
Recency bias. And was it
Recency
that?
bias.
I don't know. Was it the fact that Odyssey did a better job when it ran the calibration and EQ'd everything better in the processor the second time? Because we know that Odyssey you can run it twice and get weird results the first time and then better results.
But I'm saying, is the chipsets in the 8805A or the 7606, whatever, are the chipsets superior to what they have in a receiver? Are they dealing with the same chipsets, the same DACs, is everything equal?
I think the processing is going to be equal, right? The only thing that's going to be different are going to be your DACs. Now, Steve with an F is saying the 8805A and the Denon X8500H have the same DACs. The rest have lower ones. So,
gotcha.
Here's something interesting. I just did this tour of my gaming setup here, and I did like a binaural demo.
Okay.
And I was talking to Joe about this because I have the 7706 Marantz and I have the Denon 6700H here. So I was going to do a blind test for you guys, right? Preamp mode on the Denon, run through some scenes on Atmos, right?
Mhm.
And then swap it out for the Marantz, run Odyssey and do the same scenes, and then have you guys pick which one do you think sounds better? Which one do you think is the pre-pro? Which one do you think blah, blah, blah? And then I'll do like a reveal at the end. That way you can hear, and it'll be all a binaural kind of situation. And that way you can hear and then make up your mind for yourself. Because honestly, I don't think I'm going to hear a difference.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that right now. I do not think there's going to be a difference. And then I was talking to Joe about this, and he's like, "Oh, dude, you're gonna put it up there. Somebody's gonna hear a difference."
I know, no matter what.
No matter what, yeah.
Here's the funny thing, right?
Assuming all things are equal, gentlemen, if you sit down and you listen to Joe, you do your Magic Beans or Dirac or whatever is going on. When you sit down and you listen to a top-notch receiver or a top-notch pre-pro from a processing standpoint, each channel, 11 channel, 13 channel, whatever it is, 16. You don't think you're going to be able to tell the difference in a receiver from a pre-pro.
Yeah. I would say yes. Maybe you won't hear something in normal content. Maybe in some sort of audio test things, you may hear something. But I don't think anybody's really made Dolby Atmos content that has like, I don't know, filter sweeps or whatever.
So content is severely lacking. They're not really consistent with it. Now I'm going to put you gentlemen in the spot. I hate to take up everybody's time.
No, you're good.
Oh, you're good.
That's fine.
Okay, well, I'm going to put all you guys in the spot. And Joe, hopefully me and you can have a conversation at some point.
I'm here.
And it may get to be a regular thing between me and you, because I like you guys. I follow you just like everybody else. But like I said, every one of you guys is top notch in my opinion. Now here, I'm going to put all you guys on the spot. So, put your hands over your head, whatever. We all know about Storm Audio and Trinoff and all the high-end processors and Lindorf and blah, blah, blah. And we know what they do, the computer processing. We know how top-notch they are. And we also know that it's a mortgage payment when you buy one of those damn things.
Yeah,
2 of them.
Having said that, if you sit down with Anthem, whether it's the 70 or the 90 or the top-notch Marantz, top-notch Denon, top-notch whatever, once, like I say, Joe's Magic Bean, somebody who really has Dirac down to a science, and they put their spin on it, and it's top-notch, top flight. They've wrung everything out of it that you can wring out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Does either one of you guys, all 4 of you, believe that there's a $15,000 to $25,000 difference in what you're going to do? Because I personally, I don't. I mean, first of all, I do this for a living. I have a company called Home Theater Elegance. But the bottom line is, I personally don't think so. I'm gonna put you guys on the spot. If you don't want to answer it, don't.
No,
but,
I don't mind answering it.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Plus, I had a little meeting the other day with Stark Audio. Guys are absolutely fantastic, and they have a processor that I think is OVM by Storm Audio, whatever. It sounded fantastic, but
it should.
But with the cost of it. I think the cost of it and the processing and the computer and what you can do with it, and it's endless what you can do with it. But having said that, once that's dialed in, and once you get one of the other top flight receivers dialed in that costs only a third, if not even quite what those cost. When you sit down and watch a movie, if you get a copy of the latest Tom Cruise is out, Maverick, when you sit down and enjoy that movie, assuming everything's dialed in correctly, do you really think you're going to hear $15,000 to $25,000 worth of difference?
No.
Okay, so here's the funny thing: if you put somebody in a room, and you had a really, like you said, whatever processor, whatever AVR, whatever it's using, you've got it dialed in, and it's done very, very well. Acoustically, the room is treated. Positioning of speakers is done, to the T.
No stone left unturned.
Yeah. Right. And so somebody walks into that room and sits down, ask them what processor's in the rack. They won't be able to tell you.
They're not going to what room correction is.
They're not going to say, that definitely sounds like Odyssey.
So here's a
spin off or whatever. I know Spare Change, he likes to have all the high end stuff, and God bless him. But I just don't know how do they get away? I mean, there's always people. I'm in California, I'm in Beverly Hills. So the bottom line is there's a whole bunch of people out here. Joe and Technodad, they know this. So California is full of people with more money than sense. But having said that, again, like what you like, and everything is worth whatever you're willing to pay for it. But how do they get away with charging that much money for
All right,
something
all right, hold
that you
up.
probably really
All
can't
right.
tell the difference?
So I'm going to answer a couple of your questions. So Stop the FOMO, he actually has a Trinov. He's close to me. I need to go over there and check out his system. And he says here that the Trinov is all about convenience, control, and speed of setup, right? And so when he was telling me why he got it, it's because it's made for somebody else to go in and calibrate it. You know what I mean? It's not always about the end result of, is it superior sound quality? Sometimes it's just about, other aspects of it that make it what it is, right? What they're remapping. I don't know how well it works. I have to hear it. But, I think it's other things aside from just pure sound quality, right? I'm into watches. Does any expensive watch outperform the other one? No, it's something else.
Still tells
it's something
time.
else that you're paying for, right?
Yeah.
Pride of ownership. There's a whole bunch of things.
Sure.
But
Well,
I'm just wondering, but you're right, Joe. But there again, Techno Dad had you do your magic beans on his system, and he could have easily gone in there and let Odyssey do or Dirac do whatever it did to his system. But the tweak was you and your magic ability, your technical ability, which brought his system to the next level. So every system that you have, whether it's an Anthem or a Denon or this or that, Marantz, whatever, they all can be tweaked by somebody who really truly is gifted and knows what they're doing. Any system can be done like that.
Thing.
Yeah. So what are you paying for? I think what you're paying for is, let's say some of these more expensive ones, hopefully they'll just, you won't need me. Hopefully, right? Hopefully you'll run their auto thing. What you're hoping for, and I'd have to confirm this, is that it does a better job than I can do, right? I don't know that's true. I don't know
the whole
that's
thing,
true,
right?
But hopefully it does. And I don't think that the auto calibration and Odyssey does a better job. I think Dirac does a lot of things correct, but I still don't think it's better. I think it's very good.
And like Odyssey, most people think that as soon as they finish with the calibration, sometimes their surrounds are too low and the subs are not quite hot enough. Everybody has to readjust. So I don't think a computer is ever going to be I think computers are a wonderful starting point and jump off point. But 100%. I think it takes somebody like you or somebody experienced to really get in there and dial it in to really make it. Because I don't really think much substitutes for human hearing. You can measure just about anything, but that human hearing, I just think it's almost unequaled in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the phone with Aaron earlier before the show, and I was showing him some measurements that I did of some speakers in a listening position, and the measurements were after I did the calibration, and the measurements at the listening position look horrible. Like if anybody just saw me, you'd be like, ugh, what is this guy doing?
It sounded great.
But the person really liked the sound. And so my whole point being, if you're taking a measurement at the listening position, like all these automatic systems are doing, you wouldn't come to the same conclusion. So it might actually, that's why I think it'll do a worse job. But to your earlier question about, do DACs make a difference, this and that. So I have this, I don't know if you see this. It's an Allo Boss 2. It's like a Wi-Fi streamer. And it got really high ratings on Audio Science Review. So he goes in and he measures all that stuff and, shows how well it performs next to other DACs. And so it performed really well. Can I tell difference? No. Do I hear a difference between other ones? Like, no. Do I prefer it because it measures better? If I had to choose between two of them, I'd choose the one that measures better, but I'm not saying that I can hear a difference now.
Okay.
So that's it. I
like what he does too for the industry, but I also think that a lot of things that can be measured oftentimes or sometimes can't be heard. Or a lot of distortion that can be measured on a particular machine, it's really inaudible to the human hearing. So just because something measures a certain way doesn't mean somebody's going to like it or dislike it based on the measurements. They may not even be able to hear it.
That's the thing. I try to at least, weight things, right? Because I get access to a bunch of stuff and I get to test out lots of things. I try to kind of put it in a hierarchy of what makes the most difference. If you have to spend, you have a limited amount of money, right? You have a budget. Where's the best place to spend your budget initially, right? So I think a lot of people agree, get some good speakers, right? There's a good starting point. What's the next thing? A lot of people say get some room treatment to, address some of those issues. Okay, everybody's in agreement there. And I think I would say after that, the next thing would be to consider, of course, placement and then room correction next, right? How are you adjusting for the bass, right? Or so I should say subs too is up there. And then after that, you can start getting crazy. People start getting into the cables, the DACs, and the feet on your speakers. The
And
cable. I don't know. You can go as far as you want with
there's,
it. But
there's also the fact that like people just like to buy expensive stuff.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that.
You got to
That's
Trinov. They're like, I got to get this Trinov.
Right.
Screw that. I got that Lingdorf. I'm on that
Mm-hmm.
Lingdorf life.
Right.
But it all depends. I mean,
pride of ownership has a lot to do, I think.
Yeah,
with what
nothing
you
wrong with
hear.
that.
But I mean, that's even objective, subjective. I mean, they both have their place. But I was just wondering what would cause somebody, if they can sit down and truly enjoy a movie, listen to an 8805 or an HP1, for $4,000 or $3,800, whatever you're going to spend for it. Why would they spend $25,000 to really, especially if they don't have anything to compare it to?
Right.
They
It's
were
one of those
they were
things, man. Hey, they upgraded their cars, got a second house, and then they're like, okay, well, I got this 50 G's in my pocket, burning a hole here.
I'm
it's
bored.
either buy a Rolex or a Trinov or whatever.
Yeah, they're just bored that day.
People
That's
love
right.
I went to this
Hey.
I went to this music festival in Vegas, I spent a good like $6,000, but in the VIP bottle service room, someone's bill was $270,000.
There you
So
go.
like, and that's just on alcohol. Like, I don't know how many people that was for, but like, dude, people have plenty of money to they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care, so they just buy that stuff.
So
for the-
and if you were the one that was selling, if you were the dealer for Trinov, and somebody said, "Hey, I want to spend the money on that," and you're like, "Well, you don't really need it," they're like, "Nah, I want to." You're probably gonna say, "All right."
Yeah. There it is.
Oh no, I would sell it to them too, Joe. Don't make no mistake. I mean, like I said earlier, things are worth what someone's willing to pay for.
That's it.
But I mean, if you take a Bentley and you drive your Bentley to your doctor's appointment, as long as you get there safely and on time, a Honda's going to do that for you. But the ride over there, the experience and the ride over there are vastly different. That's part of my point. What's going to be the vast $20,000 to $25,000 difference between that high-end, Anthem, Denon, Marantz, whatever, and that Trinov, Lindorf, Storm? What's going to be the difference? What are you going to hear different? There's a definite difference between driving a McLaren to your doctor's appointment, or a Maybach, as opposed to driving a Honda or an Acura.
Yeah,
I think. From just listening to or watching a movie, I don't think you could tell a difference, let alone a $20,000 difference.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for their call and contact me.
I will do that. What's the best email again, Joe? What's for the masterclass?
Yeah, just go AV Masterclass, and then if you're interested in some of the stuff that I'm doing over there, just
There
go
should
ahead
be
and
a contact form over there,
there should
right?
be a contact there.
AV Masterclass.
Learn at avmasterclass.com.
Learn at avmasterclass.com. Gentlemen, please have a good rest of the day. And
Appreciate
again,
it.
to all of you, I tip my hat to you. And really, again, thanks for what you guys are doing and putting into the industry.
For
Much
sure.
appreciated.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Hey, guys. Thank you.
You too.
Take care. Bye. All right. Damn, I wasn't expecting a call.
That.
Hey, well,
The Trinov is expandable too. You definitely pay a
Yeah.
premium for that.
Sure. And then the upgrade, what do they call it? Like the upgradability down the road,
Yeah.
So
it's funny about stuff that's
Trinov
expensive
just
like this.
came out with
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
because it didn't Trinov just expand their altitude 16 is now technically in altitude 20.
okay.
Yeah.
And they can do that through like firmware, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Updates. Yeah. Man.
You
gotta be quick.
so much bots. Yeah, I already
Gotta
got
be-
that second one.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be quick on the links.
With my experience with stuff that's very expensive like that is a lot of times, you don't know until you use it, and then you start using it. You're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, it shows you a visualization. Like you find all these little things that make it kind of cool.
Yeah.
Whether it's worth it, I don't know. It's not that so much that, but for the most part, if you're somebody with a lot of money and you just don't have time to look, you're just like, I don't have to. Just give me the best one. Can you just? What's the best one? Okay, it's a lot more expensive. Okay, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
At least you know you're safe. For the most part, if you buy something expensive like that, it's probably not gonna suck, right? Whereas it's kind of the opposite. Now we're talking about the inexpensive pre-pros. My mind goes to like,
what they cut?
how bad is it? You know, like is it up to the level?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the opposite, right? Whereas with the other one, you expect it better be good, right?
They put everything in
I
it.
mean,
reliable.
But in all honesty, do these pre-pros need to be $3,000? Couldn't there be a $1,500 one or a $2,000 one? Like, I don't understand why it all of a sudden, like this is the bare minimum, $3,000.
Well,
why
like
is
that
it-
MC1, the
What's that?
MC1 for an
1,000, right?
Emotiva is only 1,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. This is just very recently, right? If we're talking about like home theater for like, the last like 10, 15 years, the pre-pros have always been those like, oh, hey, let's just put the kitchen sink in this thing, instead of having a mid-tier. Obviously, they don't want to like cannibalize the sales on their other options. But I mean,
think about this though too, Chana. Typically, that separates is geared for almost like a different target audience.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it's kind of like Trinov. I mean, they're not trying to reach the masses. Per listen is not looking to, capture the global market and like all the shares. I mean, they're looking at a specific kind of group of people that they want to target, and that's who they're aiming for. So I'm wondering if that may play a role in it too.
I wonder how much of it is actually like licensing fees. Like, you have to get a license for using HDMI, and
but how does
you
that
gotta get the right HDMI board?
Oro, that's an extra cost, right? If they say, oh, yeah, I want Oro in this, okay, you got to pay for the license.
Right.
So I don't know how much all that.
But you can get that in like a Denon AVR.
Oh, you're okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so the question is, why is it more expensive?
Yeah, like why is there this big jump? I mean, granted, you've got the high end Denon, even not their flagship, but the one that's pretty high up there. Even the when I reviewed the SR8015 at the time, it was $3,000. So now you're kind of putting a flagship AVR, and then the processor is like $2,200 at that time. But the difference is you got to spend a lot of money on the amplification, so you end up spending more. So
yeah,
I know. I think if anything, preamp should be less because they don't have amps.
Have an
inside.
amplifier, right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like they got less in the box.
man.
But here's the thing, that they were. So again, I don't know the current prices, but when I reviewed the SR8015, that was a $3,000 processor. Okay. And then AVR. Their equivalent to that, minus an amplifier, processor only, was the AV7706, and that was only $2,200.
Yeah.
So it's $800 cheaper than the AVR. So in essence, yes, it is. But what you're trying to do is you're comparing maybe a Denon AVR to a Trinov, and you're going, what's the difference? Well, it's a different market. They have a different target audience.
Yeah. Yeah. And now the prices are much different. The 7706 is $3,000.
Yeah, now I don't even.
The Denon AVR is $3,200. The Yamaha A8A is $3,200 also. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. It just seemed a little counterintuitive. I mean, obviously you have to buy amplifiers. But if anybody out there is listening, my best advice would be just invest in some halfway decent amplifiers, run it with your AVR. And if you can, do like I got a 5-channel, then I got a second 5-channel, all 10 speakers, are powered externally. Oh, yeah, let's try out this pre-pro. It's not like I really wanted to buy it, so
I'll take it even one step back from that, Chana. I would say, if you're just starting out, use the built-in amps in your AVR. Yeah. If you're using a sub, I've said it before, the bass is what takes up all the amplifier power for the most part. See if you need it, depending on the size of your room, what kind of speakers you're driving. You may, if you're happy with it, then that's what it is. You can always upgrade later, but I guess it depends on your budget. If you have money to burn, well, then you know what to do already.
Yeah. Or if you wanted some extra oomph, get a 3-channel amp for your front stage and leave it alone. that'll probably give you enough enough bang for your buck, you know, or get a second sub, or like in Mike's case, 10, you know, whatever.
Get the best speakers you can afford.
Yeah.
I think
Yes,
I would definitely put more money into the speakers. as
Speakers,
opposed
room
to-
acoustics. Yeah.
Yeah. All that other stuff, because the AVR, the processor is going to change every 5 to.
Yeah. Law of dimensions returns
6.
after that. So
Thanks, FOMO.
Thank you for the super chat.
Joe's
Joe appreciates it.
fun.
Yes.
FOMO,
Yeah,
if you did
Joe,
that,
just
on my way.
another 12 years, Joe.
Yeah, I think I can afford like maybe
the
I
remote.
don't know, like maybe
Oh,
a button from
dude,
the
you got a
remote.
rolly, bro. Sling the rolly.
Nah, never. So let's see here. What else? I forgot to mention, or I didn't get to mention that when I watched Top Gun Maverick, it was in the 4DX where the seats move. And I think that's probably the right movie for that, right? If any movies, you know, it's gonna make sense for that, you know, system. It's that, because you know when you're flying around, that thing is like, you know, moving. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I think a little bit distracting sometimes, right? There's certain times you're like, I didn't need that, you know. It drops back, but you know in the trailer where they show him and then like he's like, and then he kind of like goes forward, right? You know what I'm talking about? He like his head goes forward.
When he
So it
first
kind of does that
launches
whole
off
thing.
the aircraft carrier.
Yeah, I was actually kind of worried, like if there was an old person in here, like they might hurt themselves. Like the seats were moving a lot. You know. One tip: if you ever do go to a theater with this 4DX, instead of sitting back, like kind of sit forward and let it like toss you around. It's kind of fun. And it had this thing I thought at first was gimmicky, where they had these like strobes, right? So it kind of flashed. The first time they use it, they were like taking a picture, and then the strobe, I'm like, that was cheesy. But then when there's like, you know, more action, let's just say, on the screen, it was kind of cool. And then it had wind. Michael, you've done systems with the wind, right?
That's pretty awesome. Seriously. I thought it was going to be hokey.
Did those spin up though? How instant was it? Because these, like when there was a scene, like it'd spin up, and then after the scene was over, they'd spin down, and you're like,
So here's the thing: Tony's setup is manual, so he literally has to go in and adjust when it starts, how long it takes you to hit you. So you have to kind of calculate all of that stuff. So, but what was interesting is when a scene entered, and it was a scene like, let's say somebody's driving a car with the top down, you would immediately feel the wind as soon as that scene entered, and as soon as that scene stopped, you would not feel any wind.
Okay, so that sounds better than what this
had. It was amazing. I'll be honest with you. It was amazing, and it was done very appropriately, but you can overdo it like with anything else. You know, you can't just like, okay, where in this movie can I put wind every single opportunity? It's going to distract from what its intent is. But if you're sitting there, you know, there was a prime example. He was showing me a demo of Sing. So it's a cartoon. And there was a mouse that was swinging around on the microphone. And when he came by, I think if I remember correctly, that was one where there was a little bit of wind. And then when the gorilla busts through the door and there's all this smoke, you feel the wind right there. I'm like, dude, that's pretty cool. You'd never think that, like in a cartoon, you think just action movies, but it was done very, very well. You know, one person walked over to a window and opened up the window. Well, when they open up the window, you feel the wind. As soon as they shut the window, no wind. It was pretty dope.
I thought it was cool, this whole 4DX thing. I would say though, if I had to choose between that, the seats moving, it even had like it could spray water, it had smells, all this stuff.
Smells?
I swear to you. And so if I had to choose between that and a mediocre sound system, or like an awesome sound system, and just a regular chair, nothing, I'd choose that. I'd rather have a good, awesome sound system, great picture. That's all I need, you know?
Yeah.
I don't need more than that. Real quick, super chats. Chris Wyndham, thank you for the super chat. And he says that this is for Aaron Pro Logic Fund.
I like that.
That's why it
I
was
thought that was
99
good.
cents.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Let's see here. And then this super chat from Kamish 25. Thank you. He says, I can't upmix DTSX with Oro 3D using my 6700H. So Chana let me down. Can you guys find out why?
What did I do?
Can you
Chana let
upmix?
you
Hold on. Can you
down.
upmix DTSX?
Ouch.
No, you would have to set your 4K player to send out the PCM, not the bit stream. So once you send it out to PCM, then you can upmix it. That's the whole. That's what you should be doing. Like if you want to if you're listening to like Bumblebee or watching Bumblebee and you're like, oh, this crap Dolby Atmos, I got nothing but the score up there. You got to go and change your player settings so you're not trying to upmix the Atmos. You got to upmix the 5.1 or 7.1 uncompressed PCM signal. That's what you got to do. I have the 67. I got it in the closet. You want to hang out? I'll show you right now. Is that what we're gonna get into?
If you want, you can go to AV Masterclass and there's a consult with Chana De Silva right there. You can hit that and you can talk to him. He'll help you out directly one-on-one.
I mean, I still have the 6700H. It's just in the closet.
Well,
it's having.
I want to borrow it.
It should be in my rack right now. It should be in my. Oh, dude.
I don't use Blu-rays. All my files are on my PC, ripped files. Okay, so you just have to see if your PC can output just PCM. Can it do that? I don't know what program you would use for that.
Yeah,
that's strange. And then I would assume in your amp assign screen you have the height channel set up at front height and rear heights, so that you can use Aura 3D. That's the other thing I would check.
Yeah, as opposed to in ceiling or whatever.
Correct.
I want to borrow your 6700 since I have Voice of God, or since I have a center height channel.
Oh, see, look! Everybody wants the 6700.
Yeah, 4700H, Elin. You kind of do like a little. The 4700 will do it.
A little swap.
No,
all good for Aura setup. Okay.
To do a center height, you need the 13.1 R.
Oh yes, you're right.
Center height and that, yeah.
I
mean, I've got plenty in stock if you guys want to actually pay for this.
There you go.
Oh man. I'm getting a new receiver. I got a shipping confirmation. Something I've never used before.
Now what?
But our buddy Tim loves it.
What is it?
It's an Arcam.
Arcam, yeah.
Oh,
you had mentioned you wanted to get one of those.
Yeah, Arcam AVR 11. So it's the $3,000. I'm at this $3,000 level, right? Denon 6700, Marantz 7706, Yamaha A8A. So I figured, hey, might as well get an AVR in the same price range, so I can do like a comparo with it. So the good folks at Audio Advice, thank you, Aaron. This way, that way, that guy. Okay. Thanks, Aaron. He was like, hey, he was talking to them, and they said they wanted to talk to me too. So all of a sudden, here we go. Audio Advice is in the house.
Audio Advice is great. They've been great so far.
They're good.
Shout out to them for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't bother. By the way, I have those Klipsch RP 600 M2s that you reviewed. So I'll be reviewing that pretty soon. So which one are you answering, Aaron? I think Nathan had a question here.
Oh, yeah. He was asking, like when you enter in the distance, how is it in your AVR? How is it doing the time delay? So I was saying that depending on what DSP you're using, it depends. So you can in the mini DSP, you can actually say you want this many milliseconds away or in time, right, for delay. But most of them that ask you to enter in a distance, it's going to base the time delay off the one that's closest to you, or right. Hold on, I just had it right the first time. Furthest away from you, yeah. So if you have one that's 2 feet away and you got one that's 6 feet away, well, it's going to delay the one that's 2 feet away in time. But that still doesn't mean that you're going to have proper phase alignment, because time is not phase. They're related, but they're not the same thing.
That's here. Don't forget that time delay can't make up for improper phase alignment. So it is possible. I mean, I do this all the time, and it's still it's hard to visualize it, that something could be time aligned, but not necessarily phase aligned. It could be out of phase, but the timing is correct.
Yeah, the example I give is if you just take like a coaxial speaker, they're already time aligned. Now take the polarity of the tweeter, flip it, now they're out of phase. They're time aligned, but they're out of phase.
Yeah, that's a good example. So how about this though? let's say I have my main speakers and I have my sub. I take a sweep and REW of both of them, so I have my phase of both, and then I say time align because there's a time align feature in REW, and I say time align at 80 hertz, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that gonna be in phase?
So they shouldn't ask you to time align. Okay, so all right. Time delay is based on either signal, like the time that it takes for the signal to propagate through multiple DSPs, right? So that would be latency. So that would be one reason that you would want to time align, and the other one to be make up for the physical differences in placement, right? So you could time align the signal, and it's basically all you're doing is just saying delay the time that the signal comes out of this speaker to match that of the other speaker. So now the signals come out of the speakers at the same time. So that's what you would use time delay for. But if they're asking you specifically to use it at a particular frequency, then they're doing something with the phase too. I don't know why else they would ask you that, right? So time delay will rotate the phase at different frequencies if that's how you want to use it. But if you're using it just to actually delay the signal propagation time, which is how most of us are using it anyway, then I don't know why they would be asking you for a particular frequency. That doesn't really make sense to me. So,
okay, so how about this then? Can you use just the time delay and say, you know what, I'll miss the first cycle, I'll get it on the next one, right? Just so I can.
Well,
if you don't have phase rotation and you only had delay, could you possibly use the delay to get phase alignment and close enough time delay so that it's not super noticeable?
So I actually have a website for like my car audio buddies. It's a time delay calculator. I don't even remember the website. It's aaronsaudiocorner.com and then time delay or something. I don't know. It's easy to find. But part of that, there's like a little extra section that says, if you want to play around with phase, then enter your crossover point. It'll calculate the time delay needed to adjust in phase the rotation, right? So what I'm getting to is theoretically, and it kind of works, you can use time delay to manipulate the phase rotation. But ideally, you have both. So you have time delay to say, because speed of sound doesn't care what the frequency is. It's the same at all frequencies, right? So you would delay the time of flight from one speaker or subwoofer to the other one. And then you would say, okay, now I've got this phase mismatch. Let me fix that via other means, like an all-pass filter, or you can just play around with different filter networks. You can try, like a Leakwitz-Riley or a Butterworth, and different order slopes for the different speakers. There's all sorts of things you can try to do, and then you can even just flip the polarity, because there's one trick that a lot of people use. Pro audio, car audio, home audio, tons of people use this. Is when you're trying to set the time delay by ear, if you want to make sure you got it nailed right, you do the nulling method. So you would play like a test tone or pink noise, and you would just move the time delay on your mini DSP. Well, first of all, you take one of the speakers. So let's say you take your subwoofer, you flip the polarity coming out of your mini DSP so where it's 180 degrees out of phase, and then you just mess with the time delay until you can no longer hear that frequency, until it just sounds like it's falling off a cliff. And then you flip the polarity button, you're back in phase, and you're in business.
I love those tricks, right?
Yeah,
those that's the ways, like, you know what?
Right.
Forget the measurements, right? Play these. When it cancels out, then you're perfectly, out of phase at this place. So
right, and then flip it.
Little tricks.
Yeah, so it's just all sorts of different ways you can try to do it. It's really hard to get time and phase dead on with multi-speaker system.
Okay, so here's a question. When let's say if you don't have phase rotation and you're just doing what I said, where you're kind of like just making sure that they're phase aligned at the crossover, right?
Yeah, as best
Even
you
if
can.
It's not perfectly time aligned,
right?
Not spot on. How noticeable is that difference versus actually being time aligned and perfectly phase aligned?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. And it's hard to explain. I think it's one of those things where you would almost just have to hear it and then A/B it. Because like even playing around with time delay between left and right speaker, if you ever want to just have fun with it, sit down and play with the position adjustment in your AVR and just move it and see if you can walk the sound stage. I mean, you can physically move the center around left or right. You can steer that center around as you want to. When it's perfectly lined up, it sounds much more full, much more cohesive. But if you're like little iterations away from that, maybe if you're like 0.05 milliseconds off or something like that, are you going to notice? Is it going to be like night and day? Probably not. I don't think most people are going to notice it. But if you have the ability to flip A/B that, you're going to hear that. Now, higher frequency stuff, not so much, because then you start getting into comb filter patterns. Even just like from a tweeter to a mid-range, you can run into that where it's like just a click of time delay one way or the other. It may make 8 kilohertz in phase, and then it may make 5 kilohertz out of phase. It just depends, right? Mid-range frequencies is really where it's more dominant at, and higher frequencies is where level is dependent.
I'm trying to find this this time alignment tool. Let's see, in REW. So have you used that
No, I didn't even know it was
alignment tool? Hold on. Let's see. 36 and 38. Okay. Let me see if I can share this. All right. So here we go. Share screen.
I like that Elon's got the birds in the background. It's like, it's so peaceful.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You can just hear. I just hear them. I'm just like, oh, this is nice. I feel like I'm on a walk, but not on a walk.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they're back. Hold on. I got him. Hide
Okay.
user.
Yeah, somebody, Tim. I don't know whoever has the account of this. Have you guys gone in and set up the word blocks? You know what I'm talking about? Somebody may want to do that.
No, because that would be like half Chana's vocabulary.
Yeah, or you know what? That's probably true.
Naked
Right?
dude
I'm
is
just
naked
saying.
is back.
I'm just saying.
Here, it'll be easier if I share my entire
Share
screen.
yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna look weird because I have a ultra wide. Okay, so here we go.
Oh, look at you with the ultra wide.
Can you guys see this? Does it look pretty hard to see?
I mean, I can see stuff, but it's hard to see. Those
Even if
phase
we
wraps.
solo mode.
Okay, so
all right.
So what we're looking at right here is 38. So this one that I'm switching on and off,
Yeah. Okay.
that is my left speaker, right?
Okay.
Floor standing speaker. And this other one that I'm looking at is the sub. Okay. So right now it's psychoacoustic smoothing. I could change it, 148.
Hold on. The orange one is the sub?
Yeah.
Man, you run your sub high, or is that just letting it play all the way up to figure out where to cross it?
This is no adjustment right now.
Okay,
This
so
is
no
just
filters at
raw,
all.
nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so what it shows you here is like you can set, and this is an REW,
Okay.
let's say 80 hertz right here, and it shows you the phase traces down here, right? At this point, let's say 80 hertz, right?
Okay.
And then if you hit alignment tool, it pulls up this, right?
Okay.
And then I can say align phase slopes at cursor,
Okay.
right? And it shows you in black what the summed response would be.
Huh. Cool.
Or I can say align phase at cursor. And so you can see that's what happens if I align the phase. And so it'll tell me how much delay I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, I should probably switch these. So I'd delay the sub. Or no, depending on the AVR, right?
Yeah. I start
On the
mid
AVR, I'd
range.
add this to the AVR.
Yeah. I start mid range and work my way down for time delay.
So, but you can also do invert polarity, and you can see, okay, cancellation.
Oh, that's
black
cool,
is
man.
Less, right? So that's worse. You don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But the other cool thing is, instead of using this, you can kind of just move the delay and see how it affects things.
Oh wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy what math can do, right?
Yeah, dude.
And it's very good.
The
Like,
guy who makes REW is
Oh
like
my goodness.
on another level, dude.
How-
And there's all sorts of stuff that he's like, I'll see somebody post something about the new update and it has this new thing. And I'm like, wow, if I'd have had that 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Just
So
crazy.
anyway,
That's cool. I'll have to check
it's
that out.
a cool little thing that you can use if you just want to do your own sub calibration, or you want to just check to see how good your auto calibration is doing. You can kind of use something like that. So
Yeah,
anyway,
that's cool. I'll have to play around with that one of these days.
yeah, man. Yeah.
Look out.
Mhm.
Craziness.
Anyway, sorry, I had to nerd out for a second there. I get
Yeah.
excited about
Let me run through some of these starred comments here. Someone said, Dan says, how do you pay in order to stay for the after show? That is easy, Dan. You just need to go to patreon.com/daily HiFi, become a patron, and then you'll see the post for the link for the after show that is today after.
And you know
this
what?
show.
I'm trying something new. You know how we're trying that new system.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give a freebie. Let's give a freebie and let just people, whoever wants to, who's not already a patron, go here. I don't know if we can copy and paste this link, but go ahead, just join us there. So even if you're not a patron, you can kind of see what we're up to there.
Where's that banner at, Joe? I could just toss it. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, here I can copy it.
Here. Hold on. Let's go edit, copy,
Boom.
save, show, comments. Oh, you already did it.
Yeah.
Damn it, I'm too slow.
Yeah.
Here's my. I'm gonna put it in again.
Today, if you want to join today, there you go. Normally, this is what we do with our patrons, but I figure, once in a while, it's good to, connect with people. You don't always have to get paid every time, right? Let's have some fun. So yeah, try that out.
Sean Johnson asks, Denon X3700H or Pioneer 504. Oh, was that 504? I thought that was the 505. If it's the 505, then with what you're using to game with, then I would go with the 505 over the Denon. Just for that. Samuel Hooks says, hey guys, thanks for the info some weeks back about the Denon X8500A or Marantz AV8805A. I chose the Denon, had the Yamaha A5200 Pre-Pro and matching amp. The Denon sounds better than the Yamaha combo. All right. Thanks for the update, Samuel. Let's see. Oh, here's one. I don't know how to pronounce that name. But on the Klipsch RP line, the original 500M and 600M are now 250 and 350. Are these good buys? Which would be better for strict home theater usage? He already has a Klipsch center channel, 504. And then he's got a Shu. Is that Shu or Husu?
Sue.
It's Sue VTF 2 MK5 sub.
H is silent.
H is silent.
Sue.
Okay. That makes more sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you guys think? You guys had the 600Ms? I think so, right?
I haven't heard
of
them.
500, 600 M are now 250.
I'd get the 600. Wow. You only talk $100, but that's just
Aaron said if you're going to use DSP, right?
So so I've got the 500M now. I can try to pull up my results real fast and just kind of do a mental comparison because I don't have my listening notes in front of me and I don't remember what they sounded like, to be honest with you. So give me a second. I'll look if I find it.
Oh, someone's trying to call in, Joe, and he says it keeps going to voicemail.
Yeah, I have it turned off because, answering some questions here.
Yeah, I mean, the 600M, I do remember that one. Now, it sounds bad on its own, but if you have EQ, you can fix it. The 600M2, in my opinion, is worth the buy, but with these being as cheap as they are now, I don't know, man. I think it might make more sense maybe to get the 600M and a mini DSP. You're going to need a separate amp, though. That's the other thing.
So 600M version 1 with...
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Version 1 with DSP. That's a pretty decent deal, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'd take the 600M because I've got the data for the 500M right now, and I think both of them are kind of on the same plane as far as the overall result. I seem to recall that, but the 600M definitely gets a little bit lower, so you get a little bit more extension. Not a whole lot, but a little bit more. So if you're looking at those two, that's the route I would go. I would get maybe the 600M, get you a mini DSP if you can at some point too, and use EQ to fix some of the problems that it has.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Oh, man, again. Oh, somebody got it. All right, cool. Johnny Bravo asked, what about Marantz 7706 and 8805? Which one sounds better? I only need 11 channels.
First of all, question, you have the M logo here. Which M?
Which M are you rocking? And don't say it's that M1.
Well, it's okay if it's an M and then a single number in front of it.
Single number.
If there's multiple numbers in front of it, then
it's one of those. Oh, it's a 335 CIM5.
Yes.
Or something like that. That doesn't count.
Yeah. Just joking. Just joking. I was just you know.
Yeah.
So what about Marantz 7706?
Get the one that has 11 channels and is cheapest. How about that?
That's what I said. If you only need 11 channels, go with the 7706. Mike, you were saying the 8805A just has better DACs, right?
That wasn't me.
That wasn't you. But
I think the caller said that.
Oh,
maybe.
caller said that.
I don't know.
The other thing that the 8805A has is a pair of XLR inputs balanced. So if you have like a high-end player, and you want that, but I think what is it, $1,500 difference?
It's a big deal. Yeah, I love the 7706, man. I've got that thing is rock solid. Sounds great. If you don't need the extra channels and you don't anticipate going to something like a 13.1, man, I got no problems recommending it. It's solid.
Oh, it's $5,000. So $5,000 versus $3,000. So it's a $2,000 difference. I would go with the 7706.
Chana,
Yes.
did you notice a difference in the 7706 versus your 6700?
Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. To actually like think about what was going on and then unplug everything.
It's a 30-minute process, man.
Yeah, that's why I can't wait to do the thing in here, because you guys will get a video where it's just the 6700, then the Marantz, then the Denon, then the Marantz, and I can switch back and forth, and you can actually hear. Well, hopefully you'll hear a difference. Otherwise, somebody's been lying to us this whole time.
Before you do that, so we can try to control as much as possible, right?
Wait, say that again?
Well, I'm saying give me a call beforehand so we can kind of try to control as much as possible.
And it won't
at
be
least level match everything.
Yeah, it won't be
right.
It won't be Magic Beans. It'll just be Odyssey. I'll just rerun Odyssey, and they'll be using the same 50 watt by 16 channel amplifier for all these little tiny speakers in here.
How about this? Let's not factor in Odyssey. What if it's just really the hardware, right? They're not claiming that the Odyssey is better or different.
Well, I mean, but in a normal situation, someone would get home and they run Odyssey, right?
So yeah, but that just adds a lot of variables, right?
I mean, if I just do a three, because this is a small space. If I just do a 3, like the number 1, number 2, number 3, yes, 3 positions.
Yeah.
For both, I think
my whole point is, isn't it the hardware that they're saying is better? If the hardware is better,
I mean, yeah, like the DACs or whatever.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
So if it's just the hardware, then why involve
Software?
Odyssey? Yeah, because that can add, it can change.
So then how would we calibrate the system? Just manually?
Let's
That's
just
gonna take a lot
we'll only let
Manual
it set
distances,
level.
yeah.
Like we'll do it on one. Say okay, levels and distance. We'll mark it all down, and then copy those settings over.
Oh,
So
I
we'll
see.
just use
That's a
exact
good
same
idea.
settings
That's a good idea.
in both. So that way it's the exact same calibration, right?
Yeah.
I think that'll work.
So, yeah, man, I'm curious to see, because everybody says it does this, it does that, it does this, but like, to answer your question, Elon, I have no clue, because it was like I ran Odyssey, then 2 days later Joe did Magic Beans, and then I didn't really listen to anything. Like, my wife was using it to watch TV, but I didn't listen to anything until Zach showed up from Dream Media, and then we went through all this demo material. I'm like, damn, sounds awesome. Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
stupid naked guy's back.
Yeah. They probably saw our demographics for this. They're like, all dudes?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get them. For sure they want this.
I know you guys are cheap too.
What's the
Yes, right.
again?
Right.
Chana, what's the price difference between those two that you had?
$5,000. By the way, who was that? The guy with the M logo in his Johnny Bravo. I have both of them in stock, so if you want to contact me, we can talk about it later.
And how do they contact you, Chana?
Oh, you can email me.
Just plug it. Go for it.
Email me for pricing.
Tinder
Go
ad.
halfway.
55@gmail.com.
All right, there you go.
Oh, you know what was funny? Like, I was watching, I watch all these, like, how to, get your music heard by people on like TikTok. This one guy's like, this is the best marketing for your song. And this is how my song got 2 million streams in 1 week. He put the song up on Instagram, and in the link to his song, he put the link to his song on Spotify, but the link text says free feet pics, onlyfans.com. So he got millions of people going to go see these feet pics, and it counted as a play on his Spotify. So very, very sneaky.
Genius.
Fantastic idea. Techno Dad mine
All right.
still has it.
Let me see here.
So
Youth Man,
did y'all
one-liners
answer
have
this
been
one?
fire.
Between
Oh no, that's
XLR?
why I put it up there. My bad.
Okay.
What is the difference between XLR and RCA cables?
Preamp.
Lower
Preamp.
noise, lower
Yes.
noise with the XLR, stronger voltage typically, so you can lower your amp gain. And so if you have a noisy amp, then you would have lower noise floor overall, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, the folks at Outlaw Audio, when I was asking them about their 7-channel amplifier, and they're specifically asking like, what are you going to run this with, a pre-pro or an AVR? And when I said AVR, and they're like, oh, you need to make sure that the voltage is high enough, right? Because sometimes the voltage on the RCA pre-outs are just not high enough to carry the signal, in which case you can add additional noise and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're trying to crank up the gains and all that stuff.
Right.
I will say, I'm curious if you guys have noticed this too. In all of my years of doing this, I've broken and I've had faulty RCAs a lot, but I have had XLR cables that I have beat up and they completely fine.
Joe has some
Yeah.
XLR cables on his mic
well,
that suck.
Yeah, I got these
Yeah.
expensive Mogami gold ones that Chana said are the best, and it's kind of
That sucks.
giving me
Well,
some.
mine's working just fine, so I don't know.
Maybe I got some knockoff ones, huh?
Dude,
Maybe a fake one.
dudes, my wife was watching some shows, and one of the shows was about counterfeiting and like how it's like a multi like billion-dollar business. And Joe, you would have loved it, dude. They're counterfeiting watches, and he's this guy's making like an identical replica of a $50,000 watch and selling it for 10 G's or something like that. Like, it's crazy.
Hey, actually, I have had issues with XLRs, and I bet Chana has had problems with XLR cables.
Dude.
Inexpensive ones mostly. Like,
Right.
they
Dude,
start
I
getting all
just
crackly.
threw
Usually
I
the
just threw
connector.
away. Yeah, I just threw away like 200 feet worth of XLR cable.
Oh, that
I
sucks.
just rebought them. Just had to I was just like, oh, you're dead. Okay, boop. Get another
And I
one.
think it's because like you know, they look durable, so I end up like abusing them more. Like I'll roll over them with a chair. You know what I mean? Like it's meant to get abused.
I mean, like mine were getting abused because they were
XLR.
like,
Hold on a second. Hold on.
I'd wrap it up.
There we go.
I put them in the hot car. Then they'd be in my storage unit, and it's winter, so it's like 5 degrees outside. So they went through like all kinds of. they went through. They have a little damage. They have a little damage.
They're a little bit
And
weathered.
so I had to replace some of them. Like the ones that I really were surprised were the monoprice ones, and I just had to throw away like 6 of them one
No
day
good.
because they
No good.
weren't. They just stopped producing sound or signal. They weren't passing the signal through. So
It happens. That's why we
So,
have
yeah.
extras on hand.
exactly. Chris Wyndham, does he have to show work on mobile?
I think so.
Is that new system? Is
Yeah,
this the newest
think so.
one?
I think so.
Cool. Thank you for the super chat again.
Yes, thank you. Anything else? Anything else we should cover before we go?
I don't know.
Elon, you have anything you want to plug?
Just be ready for my next video coming out probably Friday.
Okay.
Just kind of going over what I had in the theater and just the last steps that I took to finish it and
Everything
to
I'll
what
drop-
it is today. Yeah.
Check
Oh,
out
So, Elon, you
channel.
said probably Friday. Does that implies that you don't have like a predetermined day that you drop videos? And this is just a question from one platform dude to another. So I recently, like in the past month, I started dropping mine try to do them on Wednesday for a few different reasons. One is to make it dependable, but also to keep me from dropping like 3 or 4 in a week, because I'm bad about doing that. Like I'll just get so excited. I'm like, oh, here's everything I've got.
You've
And then I'm
done,
like, oh, crap.
you've done them in a day.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So I was just curious, like, do you stagger them at all, or you just kind of drop them when you get them done?
Well, at least for now that the theater is done, I'm probably going to try and get them out more regularly again. And usually I release them on Fridays at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But yeah, right now, since it's been just
So sporadic.
So sporadic the past
Dependent
few
on
months, I just
finishing the project, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly. I just release them when they're finished. But
yeah, that makes
but yeah,
sense.
typically, probably moving forward, now that it'll get regular again, I usually do Fridays.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to kind of, it gives people something to watch over the weekend.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people are busy with work or whatever, and they don't have time to watch it during the week. But
Yeah, surprisingly, I paid attention to my stats, and it was telling me like noon is the best time, and I was like, noon?
That's what mine does too.
Like that's crazy, but it
That's
seems to be
always
true.
true.
Like if I drop one on a Friday or Saturday night, it doesn't do well. But if I drop one on at noon on a Wednesday or a Thursday or Friday, it does well.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's weird, but
lunch
Yeah, I do
breaks,
like
I guess. maybe.
Silly stats.
all the people who watch my videos, they don't work. They're slackers.
No, they're watching it at work.
Well,
Yeah,
they have to realize too,
Yeah.
like over half of my audience is overseas too. So you got to look at that too.
That's what I was talking to Joe about earlier today. Somebody had mentioned to me in one of my comments or something somewhere, I can't remember where, they said, just keep in mind, like the monoprice subwoofer that I'm going to be reviewing, they were saying people overseas, and this guy was from overseas. He was saying, we don't have those here. So if you get like few reviews, that's probably why. And I thought, you know what? I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah.
So,
You know, this is what I did when I started live streaming. I just have every country. So I know I'm like, hey, let me do a live stream, or let me, you know, major land masses, you know, are just on here. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's 7 a.m. in Australia. Maybe they want to continue the party. They got back from the club and they got DJ Techno Dad in the house right at their home. Exactly.
DJ Chana.
Whoa, that's right. People are on lunch watching videos, or just during work, man. Trust me.
Yeah,
it happens. I used to work in an office. But anyway,
anything to not do actual work.
There would be a time I worked for this video game publisher in the marketing department, and I would take screenshots of this game that are going to go on IGN and on the back of the box when they still made boxes. And I literally for 8 hours would not do anything. And then once everybody left, since they were like, okay, we're going to do overtime tonight. I'm like, okay, cool. This is what they told me in the morning. So I didn't do anything for 8 hours. And in that 6 hours of overtime, I just banged out a whole bunch of stuff while nobody was there. Fun stuff.
There you go, man.
I love working at a video game publisher, man. It's got all kinds of money.
That sounds pretty cool.
Oh, I met 50 Cent. I was doing it, and like him and his boys came in because our company did the 50 Cent game, and then he comes back and he's like right behind me. Dude's little. Oh my gosh,
really
way taller than that guy. Yeah,
I did not know that.
But his entourage was just ginormous.
I bet.
But he's like, hey, what you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm taking screenshots for this game, and he's like, oh, maybe we can get you to work on my game. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, you were like, holla, holla.
You got it. You got it, 50.
Whatever you say.
I mean,
50.
this is back in like 2006 or something like that. It was a long time ago.
He was starting to be on his decline at that point.
Possibly. If it's like a video game,
In the following year or so, he was beat out by Kanye in sales for the first week, and that was a big deal.
Oh.
So.
Is that when they had that face off? Like,
yep.
Whoever.
Yep.
You're supposed to quit.
Kanye's album did better than 50's, and 50 said he was going to retire. That album was straight garbage too.
Garbage.
I like 50 Cent's first album was awesome. Even though like the mixtape version, The Power of a Dollar, before that was good, but
hey, did you release that one where you're doing the little freestyle already? You did, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I always watch them before, you know. And
that was the one where somebody replied something, and I was like, okay, well, you're banned. Yeah.
So you just made that up on the spot?
You couldn't tell?
I was about to say that was obvious.
Hey, honestly,
toward the end it got better.
That's better than I could do.
Yeah, toward the end it got a little bit better, but yeah, it was on the spot.
Oh,
I'm gonna
man.
keep doing those too, man.
After
Just
the
trying to keep
Depp
it fun.
Heard, after the Depp Heard trial, I need something else to watch it work. So I'm gonna need Aaron to poop on someone's bed.
Hey, man. I'll do what I can.
And measure it.
I'll
And
do it.
measure
Yeah,
it.
and measure it. What are the contents of this?
Oh, man.
Ooh, look,
That's
corn.
something that we can agree on.
What's the consistency?
Jeremy Anderson. I was very entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I showed you on Instagram. I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram. Dude, you know, like he had that cologne,
Mhm.
like with Dior, and they
Oh,
didn't drop him.
Savage.
Like, yeah, they didn't drop him, and we were just out and like we passed by, and what was it? I forget the name of the store, but anyway, they had all the colognes out in the front. They're all sold out. Yeah, everybody's
Crazy.
buying them up. So I bought one to support. Now I smell like justice.
There you go.
Waiting for that one.
There it is.
That was
There's
Angela.
the punch.
Yeah, that was
there
her
you go.
joke. I just
Angela.
repeated it.
That was the smell like justice. Don says, I kind of like Chana's last video. He was working at another job filming. Yeah, it was. I have that job tonight. I actually have this long video that I've been making for this silly new Zaidu player. It's not silly, it's actually pretty cool. But I think I might have to do it the same thing, just finish the script up here and then go shoot at work. And Elon, thanks, buddy. High five. I took your advice because last time you're like, oh, you're sitting by a crackling fire. I'm like, yeah, it's a gas fireplace, so you wouldn't hear crackling. So I added the crackle into the video. So if you guys
there
listen,
go.
Oh, I was,
when
I
it's
was
just-
hearing it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, you
dude,
were- yeah.
it sounded nice and clear. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, how'd you get that? Yeah, I added it in. It's
All
movie
right.
magic.
Movie
Right?
magic.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch, though. I heard it.
Woo.
It was a nice touch.
Those little
Yeah.
things make all the difference.
Yeah. People are like, oh. Then somebody was like, are you cold? I'm like, yeah, it was like 40 degrees that night. Still cold over here. Anyway, are we good, you guys?
Yeah.
Any more?
Yeah. I'm ready to go and talk to everybody.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's get this
So-
other banner up here. If you guys want to jump into the live show, if you like, you haven't for whatever reason,
Yeah.
copy that link, and you'll get access to the after show. And so we will see you in a few minutes. Thank you to everybody here watching. We appreciate you being here every week, Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Elon, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. And everybody, I dropped his link to his YouTube channel in the chat, so just scroll up and check it out, subscribe up, and check out his theater build. I'm excited to see that video as well. And we will see you guys next week. And for those joining
You guys.
us in the after show, we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Onomatopoeia.